Imagine waking up one morning in a city of 1 million people. Clean roads stretch for thousands of miles in every direction. The law protects you. The army defends you. You live in the most powerful civilization the world has ever seen. Now imagine watching it collapse. At its height, Rome controlled 70 million people, nearly a third of the entire world's population. It lasted for over 1,000 years, and then it was gone. This is the story of how Rome rose from nothing and how it fell. Around 753 BC, on the banks of the Tiber River in central Italy, a small group of Latin-speaking people built a settlement on 7 hills. The legend says 2 brothers, Romulus and Remus, founded it. Romulus killed Remus and named the city after himself, Rome. It wasn't impressive at first, just farms, mud huts, and a handful of warriors. But these people had something others didn't: ambition. For centuries, Rome was ruled by kings. Then in 509 BC, the Romans did something revolutionary. They threw out their king and invented the Republic. 2 leaders, called consuls, would share power. No single man could rule alone. It was a radical idea, and it worked. Rome began expanding, first across Italy, then into Spain, Greece, and North Africa. They fought Carthage, one of the most brutal wars in ancient history, and won. But power creates conflict. By 100 BC, Rome was rich, powerful, and deeply divided. Then came a man who would change everything. Julius Caesar, brilliant general, masterful politician, and deeply, dangerously ambitious. He crossed the Rubicon River, an act of war against his own government, and marched on Rome. He won. He became dictator. Then on the Ides of March, 44 BC, his own senators stabbed him 23 times. Caesar's adopted son, Augustus, took power, and he was smarter than his father. He didn't call himself a dictator. He called himself first citizen. But he ruled alone, and he ruled brilliantly. Under Augustus, Rome entered its greatest era, the Pax Romana. 200 years of relative peace. 60 million people living under one system of law. Roman roads connected Britain to Egypt. Aqueducts carried fresh water into cities. Trade flowed across the known world. Imagine being a Roman soldier stationed in Britain, 3,000 miles from home. You've built roads through dense forest. You've held the northern frontier against tribal warriors in the cold. But back in Rome, right now, there are theaters, baths, restaurants, libraries. You are part of something vast, something that feels eternal. At its height, Rome felt invincible. The first cracks appeared not from outside, but from within. The emperors became increasingly unstable. Caligula appointed his horse as a consul. Nero burned Rome and blamed the Christians. Political assassinations became routine. In one 50-year period, Rome had over 20 emperors. Most were murdered. The economy collapsed. Inflation surged as emperors melted down coins and mixed in cheaper metals. Citizens lost trust in their money, their government, their empire. And then came the barbarians. Germanic tribes had always existed beyond Rome's borders, but now they were organized, motivated, and Rome's legions, once the most feared force on earth, were stretched too thin. The Huns swept in from Central Asia, pushing the Goths into Roman territory. The Goths, desperate and armed, turned on Rome itself. In 376 AD, Emperor Valens made a fateful decision: let the Goths settle inside Roman borders. Within 2 years, they had destroyed his army and killed him at the Battle of Adrianople. The empire was simply too large to govern. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian split it in two: the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern. The East, centered on Constantinople, would survive for another 1,000 years. By 400 AD, the Western Roman Empire was barely functioning. The currency was worthless. The army was full of foreign mercenaries who had no loyalty to Rome. Vandals sacked the city in 455 AD. Nobody came to stop them. On September 4, 476 AD, a Germanic chieftain named Odoacer walked into Ravenna, the capital of the Western Empire, and deposed the last emperor. His name was Romulus Augustulus, An irony of history, named after both the founder of Rome and its first emperor. He was just a teenager, and he surrendered without a fight. Imagine standing in Rome that night. The Colosseum still stands. The Forum is still there. The roads are still paved. But the empire, the idea, the system, the power, is gone. No single battle ended Rome. No single emperor destroyed it. It collapsed the way all great things collapse. Slowly, Rome lasted over 1,000 years because it kept adapting. It absorbed other cultures. It built institutions. It gave people a reason to believe in something bigger than themselves. And it fell when it stopped doing all of those things. The lessons of Rome aren't ancient history. They're a mirror. If you made it this far, thank you. Genuinely, I want to ask you something. Which empire do you think was the greatest in history? Rome, the Mongols, the Ottomans? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to see the rise and fall of another empire, subscribe, because we're just getting started.